Okay, guys, we have a really good live today. Really good live. Okay, so let me get myself set up. Okay, Rick, let's do this, brother. Fireplace. Okay. Okay, let's sit me down here. Okay, let's see if I'm ready. Come in a bit closer. Try and read some of these comments. Over here, down. Okay, guys. From Pelican Hill, I'm here on Thursday. We have an absolutely great live for you today. So there's a guy that I've been working with for, I'm going to say around 10 years now, Mike Savage. This guy, I don't know if you know who Tony Robbins is. He's Tony Robbins' #1 coach. They have a group that's called Platinum Partners. They do life mastery. This guy is pretty much the right-hand guy for Tony Robbins for the last 10 years. I've worked with this guy, with Mike. Sometimes we do some huge corporate events or corporate clients or even celebrity clients that I work with that sometimes have challenges, or the brands have challenges, and I have an army of people with the Fame by Sheeraz family where I've got the best of the best when I go and I consult for different brands or I do turnarounds with celebrities. And Mike has been one of my closest brothers. Personal life, he's helped me. In my professional life, he's helped me. And I've seen him change careers of some of the biggest people in the business. And if you're not familiar with Tony Robbins, he is the #1 motivational speaker in the world. Mike has single-handedly goes on stage, he runs the seminar, he runs Platinum Partnership as well. He coaches all the top people there. So I want to bring him on today. Why? Because I've had the last 2 days of spending a beautiful time away with my loved ones, and it really gives you like energizing your system, all the things. I go non-stop all the time. I'm bam, you know. And these last couple of days has been really powerful for me, kind of realigning my goals, my personal goals, my professional goals, my work, Fame by Sheeraz, Fame by Sheeraz family. I've been looking at everything 360 of what I can do. Because 2020 has been a good year for us as well. You know, we can't just look at the negative, because we've been able to build relationships with people I didn't even know, you know, like 2 months ago, and now I've become so close with these different people. And now I want to see how I can add more value to you guys with the Fame by Sheeraz Masterclass. I've pinned the Masterclass down here. If you haven't taken the Fame by Sheeraz Masterclass, I suggest you take it, because it's the real deal. I want you to save time, money, heartbreak, getting screwed over in the business of fame or entertainment, whether you're a brand or whether you're a individual. I've figured it out over 20 years. So I highly suggest there's 10 classes that you go to famebysheeraz.com, and over 10 classes you'll get the blueprint of what I used to do for Kim Kardashian. How did I build Kim Kardashian? I had a formula, there was a strategy, there was a blueprint that I followed, and I've used it with every star, and it works hand down. So Mike, I want to bring you on, brother. Let's give everyone a really good live stream today. It was my vacation here with my loved ones, and I told them Fame by Sheeraz family are also my loved ones. They are bringing me mass joy in my life. So Mike, just give me a little shout out here. Big shout out to the marketing team, by the way, Pelican. What up, Mike?
Boom. How are you, brother?
What's happening, my man?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Man, listen, brother, this is a good day today, man. So I came out with the loved ones, with the family, to Pelican Hill. Yep. Switched off for the last 2 days and reassessing my goals. You know, as you know, you're one of my best coaches for talent and also for myself. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to introduce you, Mike, to the Fame by Sheeraz family. These are people that I've known over the last, I want to say like about a month now, about 6 weeks, a month to 6 weeks since we've launched the Fame by Sheeraz Masterclass. And I can tell you it's a huge give back for me, because as you know, I'm working with, you know, all the different celebrities and talent. But, you know, when you apply the same knowledge to people who are just starting out and, you know, avoiding mistakes and things like that, it's been even healing for me. So first of all, brother, you know, you are a legend. I know exactly who you are, but if you can introduce yourself and let's talk about a couple stories, and let's add value. I want to make sure, brother, that the people that follow the Fame by Sheeraz Masterclass system get access to the best in the business. You know, I'm going to direct them and guide them. And as you know, I preach never having to do a deal with the devil.
Correct.
I've seen people in my own personal life. See that fire there? Everybody goes to the devil, brother, and their ass gets burnt, and then they come back asking for Fame by Sheeraz.
we've seen some of that together actually, which is kind of been fun.
Drum roll, introduce yourself, brother, and don't
Yeah.
grumble. Tell people exactly what a badass you are, what you do, and how we can add value to Fame by Sheeraz.
Well, look, you mentioned that I've been with Tony for a long time. Truth be told, I started with Tony when I was 14 years old.
Tony who? Tony who?
Tony Robbins. Tony
Robbins.
Robbins. When I was 14, I was blessed to win a ticket by chance to one of his seminars. And from the age of 14 on to I'm 41 today. I've continued to surround myself with Tony, and I was blessed to teach the Wealth Mastery Seminar, some of our influence seminars, and build out our corporate and business coaching division. And over time in producing results, earned the right to coach platinum partners, what we call Plat Lions, some of the inner circle inside of Tony's, closest group. And today I work with some companies that Tony's invested in privately and doing some fun things there as well. And then, I wanted to speak to something. Years and years and years of coaching, one of the most important things that we tell anyone that's making a big life decision, a decision to invest in themselves, a decision to go after their dreams, is go away, focus on looking at what's most important to you in life. Create an environment where you feel the things you value most, and that is where you will get clarity on what you need to do next. So you saying, look, I took a couple days away, I went and spent some time with the family in this beautiful environment. You surrounded yourself with the things you value most. I know you as a father. And whether it's a father to your girls or a father to the people that you've nurtured and grown over the years, the stars that come to you for advice as a father figure, for perspective. I've gone to you for perspective on what my branding, looks like, even though I keep it pretty private. The whole hitch factor, you've guided me on those pieces. And the idea that you gain clarity when you put yourself in an environment with the things that you value most is key. So you going away, being around the things you value and getting clarity on what you want to do next, that speaks volumes to the wisdom you have to impart to the people that are working with you, right? Because you live it. You don't just talk about it. You actually take those actions. And I wanted to point that out because I don't think people that follow you understand how much you apply the coaching and investment in personal development that you've made in you. You don't talk enough about that. The hours and hours and hours, I mean weeks and months and years that you've spent surrounding yourself with minds like Tony Robbins and Keith Cunningham and some of the best in building a business. Because it's one thing to get famous. Anybody can have their 5 minutes of fame. You know this. You know how to create that. But to make it sustainable means they have to have the business engine behind it, right? And you've shown that for years. That we'll get into those stories, I'm sure.
Too many stories, brother. Let's keep it PG, please.
Yes.
Masterclass. That's for the mastermind level. The time when we go on the retreat. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Then you can speak openly, man.
I love it. So, one of the things I was thinking about when you said, hey, let's wrap and let's talk about, from a perspective of like, what are the key elements that we've seen with clients that make it work, where they don't just get the 5 minutes, but they actually get the business, right? Whether they're in music or they want to get in television or film or they're an influencer, right? Which you've worked with, got the best of the best in terms of influencers today. What are the three things that I've seen that keep things moving in the right direction? And I came up with kind of an acronym, right, that I think fits. One of my favorite books ever in sales, right, because I do a lot of sales trainings too, is Green Eggs and Ham, right, by Dr. Seuss.
Okay.
Here's this guy, and he's like, listen, is Sam I Am, right? Sam I Am is a salesperson, and he's trying to sell green eggs and ham to his client. He sells the green eggs and ham 72 times. He never changes the value proposition. He never makes the client wrong for saying no. He stays persistent, right? He continued 72 no's to get a yes, right? It reminds me of Disney. How many no's did Disney take in order to get a yes to build his empire? Over 200 no's, right? So like, do people have that persistence? And you know, he always looked for new options. He said, will you eat it on a plane? Will you eat it on a train? Will you eat it on a boat? Will you eat it on a goat? And the guy kept saying, no, I won't. And then eventually, the guy said, I will try your green eggs and ham. And then he said, I love them on a plane. I love them on a train. He stayed persistent. He never decreased the value of the product. He didn't say, I'll give you a discount on green eggs and ham. Oh, you don't want to try it after 50 opportunities? I'll sell it to you for half the price. He kept the value of what he was doing. And I think people need to understand the value that they have and what they bring to the table. But the reason I picked that is because Sam I Am, the most persistent person I've ever seen in any book ever written, SAM is actually a great acronym. Strategy, activity, and mindset. And I think what you're really offering in the masterclass is all of that secret sauce that I got to see you play out with not only the corporate clients you worked with, but with these individual stars that you worked with. You know, you would always come in first and do this assessment of who they are, you know, what their message, their unique voice was, and you'd put together a strategy that worked, right? And I watched this time and time again. It was like this magical recipe. So I know that you're probably supposed to be interviewing me, but I had a question for you, which is, when you sit down and start to work with people on strategy, like what's the secret? You've done this for, I don't know if can I name it? Well, the names I know you like. We wouldn't have the Kardashian empire. We wouldn't have the Kardashians if it wasn't for you. Paris gives you credit to your the biggest stars. Paris's empire today is insane. I don't think people realize this. She was just on Lewis Howes interviewed her, right? Amazing podcast interview where she talked about, you know, her makeup line and her cosmetics line, which you got on airplanes and flew to Korea and supported. Like, I don't know if people see this. That's all strategy. That is business strategy at its core, supporting people to not only have fame, but to turn it into a business. Why do you believe that having that strategy is so important? Because I see it outlined in the masterclass in detail. You give people the recipe. Why is it important for people to focus on that today?
So first of all, you know, the recipe is there. And by the way, no one's ever given this out. So let's start there.
Right. Including you. People twisted your arm for 15 years to give it out.
I didn't. And you know the reason I did it is because I went through an emotional state in my life. Which is ending up is going to bless everybody, that what God made me go through.
Yes.
But when you see and when you work with some of the biggest brands or some of the talent in the world, and the strategy is the blueprint, it's the 10 classes, right? People can go onto famebysheeraz.com, they can see that. But what am I looking for? Okay, so I can tell you the people that I've worked with that have become so successful, and by the way, they all started out as nobodies. No one even knew who they are.
Right.
Okay? They're just starting out. Okay. First of all, you've got to be so damn not hungry, brother. Starving.
Yes.
Starving.
Yes.
Rule number one for me. Starving. Okay. Not entitled. Okay. Not scared to get rejection. Okay. Not all the negative, the no's and the bad and all of that kind of stuff. That's not my business. Okay, and the one thing that's super important for me, what I'm looking at, who I'm going to work with or working with, is who's in their inner circle, who's in their ear. Okay, because I've seen, you know, as we both know, we were working with someone, an artist or whatever. They were going to be the next Kim Kardashian, hands down. Oh yeah, yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
The problem is if you have a bad negative person in your ear. If you have someone who's going to tell you the wrong advice, who hasn't achieved that result before, is going to lead to a town called nowhere. It's not going to happen.
Well, you know, we say that all the time. You become the 5 people you surround yourself with most. We say it constantly, right? At the seminars, people don't believe it. When I was teaching Wealth Mastery, I remember once in Fiji, I gave the audience an exercise, right? This beautiful resort, we're overlooking the ocean, everybody's feeling good. And I introduced the reality check. I said, I want you to add up what you believe the income is of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So, I told them estimate. Nobody called their friend and said, hey, how much do you make every year? But I said, estimate. I said, divide by 5. And 85% of the room looked shocked because it matched their earnings. So it's not just about behavior. If you want to make money, you got to look at who you surround yourself with. You will earn at the level of the people you surround yourself with most. And if you don't upgrade those advisors, if you don't get the right people in your ear, right? If you don't take the chance and invest in yourself to, we call it pay to play, brother. You know this. And people aren't honest enough about that. It's pay to play. And pay to play doesn't mean you pay to get in. It means you invest, right? You invest. You want your car to go faster? You got to invest in the parts to make it go faster. You want your life to accelerate? You want to amplify things? I love that word. Right? I learned that from a mentor of mine. If you want to amplify your life, you've got to invest in amplification. And to your point, you've got to have the right advisors. I think you talked about hunger, right? I mean, like hungry, like that lion in the field that wants to feed not only himself but the pride, right? Sylvester Stallone.
Tell us a story. Let's
right.
This story.
If people don't know this story, right? Sylvester Stallone.
By the way, this story is going out to Teflon Mom. Okay, this is one of my little girls on our same platform. Teflon Mom, I hope you're listening to this story right now. Okay.
Nice.
Chris Fabregas, Quincy Jones. Let's do it, brother.
So Stallone, he moves to Hollywood. He's got this script. He was inspired by watching Muhammad Ali, and he gets out there and he wants to sell Rocky. And he goes to agency after agency after agency. Nobody wants to buy it, right? Nobody's interested. And he's down to his last penny. He's got no money, and he finally settles, right? He settles for a small portion of what he really wanted. And in order to get to the point where he could get somebody to buy in, he actually sold his dog. His best friend, the one thing he had to comfort him, he sold his dog. He stood outside of a butcher shop with a sign, and he sold his dog for a couple grand just to pay his bills. Like, this is his best friend. But he was so hungry, he wanted to make sure his dog could be in a home where it was well fed, because he didn't have any more money to feed the dog. And he knew that he could get the script sold. And one of the things that was amazing for me is that he didn't settle. He knew he needed to play Rocky. There were offers to buy the script, but they weren't going to let him in the role. And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't settle. And when he finally got it, they offered him a ridiculously low amount of money in order to make the film. I think they gave him less than $1 million to make the film. And he said, fine, I'll take it. But I want points on the back end. He was one of the first people to put points on the back end of his contract. He believed in himself. He bet on himself, right? When all bets are off, bet on who? Bet on you, right? Bet on yourself. So he invested in himself, and we all know what happened, right? The movie came out. It was the biggest movie of its time. People were raving about this film. And he got all these earnings off the back end because he bet on himself, right? Yes, is that Marcelia Iglesias Hollywood? Never settle for less, period. Yes, who's that? The Teflon Monica, bet on you. Exactly, right? So you've got to bet on yourself. He had so much hunger that he wasn't willing to settle. And now we know today one of the most successful actors ever in the business, right? Huge blockbuster hits. He's worked with the best of the best. He's well respected. He's lighthearted. He's engaging. Like, what a great guy, right? But he went in with a strategy, and he had the right advisors in his corner. He didn't look at it in terms of, let me get a paycheck. He said, let me bet on myself. He put himself on the line, right? And that's the kind of hunger I think that people need to understand is needed to make it in this business today. And that's, you teach people. Here's the blueprint, right? And by the way, if you're don't equal your blueprint, get a better blueprint, right? Get a blueprint that gets you up in the morning, right? So you're giving them this blueprint, right? And then that ties into, from strategy, action, right? So what are the actions, right? You've seen, like you said, people that come from nothing, and they wake up every day and they put the work in and they hustle. So you give them the strategy, right? The masterclass gives them step-by-step instructions on how to get started. What are the actions? What's the activity that you see that are, if you said these are the top 3 activities that people need to engage in now to begin in the process?
So first
What
of
are
all,
those activities?
I'll tell you right now what the difference between success and failure, whether it's for fame or for a brand. First number one question I would say to everybody is, number one, hands down, who's in your inner circle? Let's start there. I want to know who is in your proximity. Who are you lying next to in bed at night? Who are you waking up? Who are you talking to every day? You know, are you speaking to psychics? Is it the wrong psychic? Is it the wrong advisor? You know, who is in your brain? Because you got to protect that, number one. Because
what does Joseph tell us? Yeah. Stand guard at the gates of your mind.
Absolutely, because that's going to be, for me, anything that I've ever done in my life, or other people that I've worked with who have achieved massive results, right? They guard what comes in, number one. So I can give you the strategy and the formula and everything with the masterclass, which is awesome. But what I can't do is be in your house when you're speaking to that psychic, or you're at the house, you're speaking to that negative friend. That's, by the way, you know, you have some people who are the 5 friends. Those 5 friends could all be broke. And no disrespect, it's about stepping up your game. You know, if you can help your friends later, but you need to upgrade your social circle so you're around those 5 people that are going to push you, motivate you, get you to your goal, like-minded. So that's the first thing is who is in my inner circle. Okay, number 2, I said not hungry. I said starving. Okay, there's a big difference between hungry and starving. Okay,
it's true.
When you're going to go after something, especially now, when especially being because of COVID, okay, social influencers are now the new Hollywood stars. Social influencers are the ones that are making the money right now. You know, the TikTokers, the YouTubers, Facebook, Instagram, all these other people are making bank right now. I mean, I've spoken to all your CEAs, WMEs. What's keeping the lights on is the social influencers. It's those 200,000, 500,000, $1 million deals that keep coming in. They keep coming in.
Yeah.
So there's been a huge shift, which means there's more competition.
Yeah.
Okay. Showing your ass on Instagram, I swear to God, let me tell you something. It's becoming a joke now. Okay. That all you have to do is swipe up, and then you see one pose here, one pose here, one pose here, one pose here, one selfie here. Oh shit. You know what? I missed out. Let me just show my butt. Okay. Now you're showing your butt. You know how many damn butts you see on a swipe? Nothing's going to happen, brother.
Right.
And I'm not being negative. You've got to come up with a content strategy that's going to be, when you're swiping up, it's like, oh my God. And that doesn't mean
people
sexuality.
in.
That doesn't mean sexuality. That doesn't mean showing that. There's a lot of that out there. Now you can go shock. You can do some cool stuff.
Right.
But remember that the game is raised so high right now that there's so much competition. So not only who is in your inner circle, you've got to say to yourself, okay, what is my best A game that I'm bringing to the table? If I'm going to go on a live stream, if I'm going to be producing content as a brand or an influencer, I want to be the best of the best of when I put something out. And that doesn't mean it costs money. You know, listen, I'm sitting here right now in my hotel, right? What do I have? I don't know, set here. Nothing.
No.
The only thing I have, which turned off, by the way, excuse me, is a heater. Outside of the heater, brother. What else do you need? You have a camera, and then it's substance.
That's it.
Right? And then it's like,
that's it.
Okay, what can we do? Okay, then once we know we have that you're starving, okay, then you're going to put your plan together, which I'll call the Fame by Sheeraz Masterclass. Okay, then you say, okay, these are the steps that I'm going to make for my career. And this is what I'm going to do. And why you and me are so great that we work with our clients, that what a lot of people don't know on this live stream, that we coach people. So with a selective group of people, we do 10 brands a year, high-level brands a year, where not only are we giving them the blueprints, but we're also coaching them. We're really tough on them, really, really tough. You know, and we hold people accountable. Because there's one thing of you having a goal or a plan, but there's another thing if like you and I are measuring. Is it working? Maybe it's not working. Okay, what's going on, you know? But having that, and then having your blueprint and your plan, and then having massive goals, you know, not just small goals, you know, thinking.
Listen, we call them sexy goals. And here's the simple way to put this, right? If you get a phone call from your partner and they say, hey, listen, I need you to come home. The family's coming over, and we got to clean the house. We got to take out the trash. We got to get the house ready. You know, mom and dad are coming. You're going to look at your watch and be like, hey, listen, I got 3 meetings. I got to run some errands. I'll be home as soon as possible, right? Because that's not compelling. You're going to avoid that at all costs. It feels like work. It's not sexy. But if your partner calls you and says, hey, I was cleaning the house. I was doing laundry, and I've cleaned all the clothes. As a matter of fact, I don't have any clothes on. And I've got a bath drawn, and I got some chocolate-covered strawberries, and I got some candles lit. You're going to be like, I'll be there in 3 minutes.
Yeah, brother.
Why? What? Same phone call, but what makes one want you to go home? What makes one want you to avoid it? It's sexy. When they say sex sells, we don't mean a sexual image. We mean, does it feel attractive to you? And if your goals don't feel attractive, you need to upgrade them, right? If somebody puts something in front of you, you know, you go to an agency and the agent says, hey, listen, you know, it's going to cost you a couple grand to work with me, or, you know, it's going to cost X amount to get this training, or you got to invest this much in your wardrobe. And in your mind, you go, oh my God, that's expensive. Your goals aren't big enough. Because if your goals were big enough, your mind would go, how do I fucking make that happen?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not, oh, it's too expensive. It's, how do I make that happen? What do I need to do to put myself in that place? Right? And if the minute you doubt, your goal isn't big enough, it's not sexy enough. And that's the piece where we've sat down with people and said, you're thinking too small. You're thinking with the limited thinking of you and the 5 people you surround yourself with. Let's move you over here and let's start to think bigger and broader. And now you have, you know, 3.5 decades of experience in helping people to think bigger when it comes to fame and getting their name out there, right?
Of course, and I've learned that as well, especially, and I'll give an example with Kim. I remember, and this falls right down to what you're saying. It was always about, not about, you know, the goals and the dreams were big, but it was always about upgrading. It was all about, how do I upgrade my circle? How do I upgrade my life that I can get these specific, whatever they are, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's material or not material, but, and that's not a bad thing. You know, God doesn't say you can't have everything. Why not? You know, I'll give an example. You know, I've just signed up this new girl from Iran, Al-Naz, okay? And you know, we
noticed, by the way.
I like to do things different and disruptive, right? But one of the goals is that, because Iranian girls, okay, we have a huge audience now in the Persian market, right? Why did I also choose the Persian market? It's very important because, first of all, I've had access to this for the last few years, okay?
Yeah.
And I've seen a huge market. Now, in Iran, the only social media platform that's available is Instagram.
Right.
Imagine,
that's
all of media has been blocked off. Everything else has been shut down. So now you've got whatever 70, 80 million people, beautiful people, by the way, they're in that country, and the only way of communication is through Instagram. And the stories that I've, especially since I'm working with Al-Naz, the amount of people are following me because of her fan base and stuff, right? She's opened up a huge market in the Iranian market. And my God, am I hearing dreams, bro? I'm hearing girls like, they're like dying. And the only way out is Instagram.
Listen, you know,
I've got to make someone famous here, man. I gotta take this title, man. The new face of Iran.
I don't think people understand, by the way, how amazing, like, politics aside, headlines aside, how amazing the Iranian people are. I don't know if you knew this, but the second largest publication of Tony's books is in Iran.
Really?
In Farsi. And by the way, he never authorized somebody just hijacked it, but he doesn't care. You know, Tony's like, I'd rather the information be there. The second most published language is Farsi. His book went like wildfire through Iran. And it's because they're personal development minded as a culture. They're growth oriented. They're very much about goals and growing and bringing people with them culturally. We're not talking about the politics. It's a whole other story. You know, the 99.999% of people that reside and live every day in the country, absolutely beautiful people. Absolutely. And I'm stoked that you have this young lady who's driven and hungry and has the recipe for really being that face of the beauty of Iran, not just in physical beauty, but in how she shows up, her values, in the things that she exemplifies. And you're right, that gives hope to a number of young ladies in that entire region. You know, you run Dubai. Think about all of the people in the region that look at that and say, I can do that, right? That's the inspiration that you're looking to build. It's fantastic.
And for me, there's a purpose behind this, because when we're working with Al Naz and it shows you we can do, like I'm booking December 15th, I think December 10th or 15th, she's going to be on the cover of Maxim, right, in Paris, right?
Yeah, no big deal.
Cover, Iran. I mean, are you kidding me, bro? I'm going to be careful I don't get killed. If anything happens to me, by the way, you know it's going to say that damn Maxim cover. So, someone's after your boy Sheeraz. That's why I'm hitting in Pelican Hill, bro. but that's what we got to do, man. We're going to shake it up.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
so I want to for you to give some like tips to some of our people now, setting goals. What can they be doing? There's a girl here. Hold on a minute. What's her name? Rochelle Gillis. Okay, look at this girl here as an example. This girl sends me a message the other day, Rochelle, and this girl had fire, bro. Fire, hungry. She's sitting in Canada. She really wants to make it, blah, 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 blah. And there are a lot of people like Rochelle, okay? Or there are other people who are driven. What are some of kind of the things that you've learned over the years and training the best of the best? Some coaching skills that someone should be working on themselves, you know, setting goals and this kind of stuff. So all of us, Fame by Sheeraz family, you know, I want these guys to step up, man. My biggest win, remember, I don't give a damn about Kim Kardashian. I've been there, done that. You know,
right.
Life is amazing. Done that. What's my big motivation? Let's use the formula of the Fame by Sheeraz Masterclass and create those next celebrities, create those next stars, make those huge. Maybe the brands are suffering today. How do we turn around those brands? You know, maybe we could talk about some of those stuff on mastery or whatever. What are kind of the 7 areas that you think we should be all focusing on for the Fame by Sheeraz graduates? So I want these guys to step up, man. That's what. By the way, I made a commitment. You want to talk about stepping up? I was talking to my mom, doing my daily walk at Starbucks, and I said, yeah, you know, maybe I should go live. You know, I was with Vikram. I said, maybe once a week. And I said to my, and Vikram goes, once a week, but how are we going to plan it? What's the set? I said, no, I want to go daily.
Yeah.
But I said, forget the buts. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to make it a part of my routine. You know, I don't care how many people are what. I don't give a damn. Let me do this. Let me build this community up organically so I can avoid people getting the heartbreak that I consistently see in the business of entertainment. You got to remember, bro, people show up to LA outside of Corona. They show up and they just run to the Hollywood sign. They have no plan. You know, they all want to make it. They all want to be famous. I mean, I get stopped on the street.
Well, because they were famous.
Minimum brick. How many times? 10, 20 times a day?
At least.
At least 10, 20
Yeah.
times. In my car. It's like...
Well, they were big fish in a little pond, right? And then they go to LA and the sharks are circling, right? And if they don't have a great blueprint and somebody to guide them, and look, you've guided every major name in the business through those turbulent waters. And all of the names that you've worked with, they've had success after success after success. They're a viable name that stays relevant. I mean, look, when you look at the Kardashians, when you look at Paris, when you look at even the things you did for Zendaya and a number of the other, like, they are mainstay celebrities that have lasted years and years and years and years and years, right? It's because you help them not take the bait of the sign and the stars, right? Avoid the hook. Come in and have a plan.
And by the way, that hook is also called the devil, brother.
Correct.
You know, and I've said this before, and I can say it on record because I don't give a shit about lawyers. For Kim Kardashian, she never slept with anyone, bro, to make it.
Right.
Straight up fact.
Right.
Let's forget boyfriends. God bless her. I love her for her boyfriend. Yeah. Happy relationships, amazing. Under my eye, that I was working with her for what, 9 years, all the activations that we're doing, the amount of people that wanted to play with her, she would say no. No.
No. Full of integrity.
No.
Yes.
Think about that. Other people might have judgments, but I've been around a girl that's always said no. Who's hungry? Who's focused? Who's dedicated? Who got bashed? I mean, you want to talk about thick skin?
Yeah. Well, and I'll speak to this.
Bro, I see people taking an overdose. I see people getting drugged up. You know what I mean? It's a big, oh my God, I'm getting rejected. It's not going to happen.
Look, I think if we can digress for 2 minutes, I think that's why her and Kanye, you know, have made such a powerful team. You know, I happen to know Kanye in a whole different context because his mother, you know, bless her for everything she did for him, Donda, came through all of our seminars when Kanye was first starting. She was on my team at Wealth Mastery. I was her trainer. And I remember, I have a photo of her, you know, on my team. And I remember a conversation with her where I said, you know, hey, you know, what are you doing? She said, oh, my son's a rapper. He's starting his career, and I wanted to come to the seminar to make sure that I got some things to give him. She used to keep personal development in his ear 24/7. And he did the same thing. He avoided a lot of the selling out. He speaks his mind. Whether you love him or hate him, Kanye's Kanye. He's real deal, right? And him and Kim make such a powerful team because they never sacrifice their identity for the sake of, right, fame. They are who they are, period. You know this.
Yeah, of course.
And I think it's important for people to genuinely be who they are in their search for fame. Right? People read congruency. So you talk about like the things that I've seen, the recipe, right? It's like be authentically who you are, and that authenticity is what will create connection between you and people through a camera, or between you and people through your posts. Like unapologetically you, right? Make sure that you do those things. And even if people don't understand you, that's okay. Across from every McDonald's is a Burger King. Find the people that like your brand, the other brands can grow too. It's not about crushing, it's not about competition, it's about authentically attracting the people that want to be part of your ecosystem. And both of them do a great job of that, right? And you've got to teach people inside of this ecosystem to do that. And I know your blueprint helps them hone that in, right? Your blueprint shows them like, this is how you take who you are and bring it to the next level. And I will just say this. I just saw some crazy, insane, inappropriate comments in the thread. No room for that on here, brother. No room for that.
No, hold on a minute. Let me expose that son of a bitch.
That Pods Gray, PADDSGRE, wants to throw the N-word out at somebody. You will be ejected.
Gone.
Yeah. We don't do that around here. Sorry.
We have no negativity. So
yeah, no negativity.
No, but these are jealous people, brother.
Yeah, I know. They can't handle success.
They can't make it. They're broke, and nothing's gonna happen.
That's it.
See, 2 powers of light.
Broke mindset. Broke mindset.
Bro, I exposed them, my man. So listen. So let's do some stuff. I want to do some Q&As with some people right now.
Yeah.
Teflon Mom, whoever you got, bring us the questions for Mike. Mike is the best coach in the business. He's worked with everyone from Fortune 100 companies to celebrities to CEOs to governments. Helped me in many activations that we've done worldwide. So what are some of the questions you might have? Okay, let's see. Marcella, ask us a question. This girl's she's a really good, by the way. Okay, here's another one from Chris Fabregas. Well,
I see that, right? So the vision boards.
Let's talk about that.
So, Chris, you know, when Sheeraz asked the question earlier, my mind.
Mike.
Yeah.
Chris Fabregas is from Seattle and probably one of the badass photographers on earth. Hello.
Might need to check in on that.
That's what I'm saying, brother. Okay.
Yeah. So, Chris, I got to tell you, with vision boards, man, you know, I have a platform that I use with my clients, and one of the very first things I have them do is build a vision for every category, and they assign an image to each category. So when they log in, the first thing they see in their coaching dashboard is this grouping of images that represent what they want to create in their life. Your mind, right, will move towards the things you put in front of it most often. Dragon Slayer. That is Dragon Tchaikovsky. He is one of the #1 peak performance experts in the country joining us. Love it. Good to see you, Dragon. So listen, Dragon exemplifies this as well. Every day you sit down and you visualize the things that you want most. You create a clear image. The mind doesn't know the difference between a visualization and reality. That's why we wake up and we fall in a dream. So the question is, what are the images you're putting in your mind most often? You buy a new car and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. You didn't set the trend. Your mind has that image in front of it. Now it sees more of it. What do you want to see more of in your life? Do you want more money? Do you want better health? Do you want more opportunities? Do you want a stronger network? Start to visualize that. Create a strong vision board or visual presence, a digital vision board, the background on your phone, the background on your computer, right? Where you brush your teeth. Have you written incantations and affirmations so that every morning you're priming your mind, right? Tony Robbins talks about priming, which includes visualization and gratitude every morning to train your mind to focus on the things you want most, right? Your mind will go after what you tell it to. This thing's programmable. Anybody who speaks more than one language, you weren't born speaking any language. You programmed your mind to speak a language. You have to program it to speak the language of success. It's a different language. And I guarantee you, most people that are with us today, their parents didn't program the language of success. Their teachers didn't program the language of success. They've got to do that. They've got to study. They've got to get in and learn the blueprint that creates success and program their mind to follow that regularly, right? Engaging with you on calls like this, constantly feeding their mind with what they need in order to succeed is absolutely critical. Right.
And I can tell you, that's why I'm always doing the daily live. Because outside of, first of all, you got to do the masterclass because you need to know the language, okay, and all the backdoor tricks that we teach everyone. But I think the one of the reasons that, and I want to bring you on more often, brother, by the way. I know you're slammed.
As often as we want.
Yeah, because I feel if we can build this community and be the voice in people's ear every day at 10 a.m., as an example, right, and multiple times throughout the day, it's only going to inspire us. Because these are, for me, these testimonials are my case studies. These are my new case studies. All of these people. You know, now what do some people have to do for coaching? Tell us how does that work? If someone, you know, is being coached, what are some of the things some of the goals that you set with people? How do you assess it? Just so some people, you know, right now who can't get into our coaching program because we're a bit tight on time. Later on, in the new year, we'll open it up. But what do you? Oh, by the way, before I get to that, I had a breakthrough. Okay. So me and Rick, aka sponsored by MedMen, we had a breakthrough, okay? And the breakthrough was to do a retreat, a fame masterclass retreat, mastermind.
Absolutely.
With 20 people at this place in Pelican Hill. I spoke to the team here, the management here, and on the back of that, I got other hotels and resorts because, you know, they were watching the live or whatever, where we bring people, right, and spend a weekend and just go boot camp, man, on fame.
Yes.
So we condense everything, right? Imagine how cool that would be. We go to Dubai or London, wherever we travel, and we build up this little army of ours where we go immense focus. And then we'll bring people on stage like Teflon Mom, you know, and we'll say, okay, you know what? You think you got what it takes, madam? Go. There's the stage. There's the mic. Make it happen. And we coach each other. We polish each other up, you know? Or we could have Sir Quincy Dash, #1 publicist in the UK. Let's bring him, let him pitch us. Let's correct him. Let's make him more of a badass. Because if we do, and have fun.
Yeah. And create content in real time, right? Show them how to create their content in real time with training on how to use their communication style to the fullest, right? That's the training that I've watched you do in boardrooms with brands and celebrities.
And you know, but remember Procter & Gamble, we closed millions, bro.
Look, the case studies, right? The remember the magazine cover when they lost the model and you just made that one phone call and everybody in the.
You can tell them. Listen, does this name? But I have no. Phone
So we walk into a client and they lose a celebrity that they had lined up, and the magazine cover was due like what in 3 days, right? They had to have it for publishing. It's our first meeting, like first 2 hours. And they're scrambling, and they look to Sheeraz like, okay, pull a rabbit out of your hat. Sheeraz puts his phone on the table and calls Paris Hilton. Says, Paris, I need you to do a magazine cover. She said, okay. And everybody in the room looks like, what? She didn't even ask what magazine. Sheeraz said, I need you to do a cover. And she said, yeah. So everybody's celebrating like, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. And then the phone rings, and it's Paris. And Paris goes, Sheeraz, do you know that Daisy Fuentes was the last model on the cover of this magazine? I have to follow Daisy Fuentes? And Sheeraz's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, for you, I'll do it. And then she hangs up the phone. And everybody in the room's like, holy shit. right? But there's this recipe for getting results, moving people to take action. And what you want to do is help people find the recipe to be the next Paris, to be the next Logan Paul, to be the next, Kim Kardashian, to be the next.
It could be the next brand, Pantene, Gillette. I mean, look, we work with them, right? So it could be, It could be a turnaround. It could be a fashion brand, jewelry brand. It could be a supplement brand. You saw what we did in Fort Lauderdale. We turned that place upside down, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, you make it sexy. We made it cool, sexy, fun, and sales were following. But
insane.
But for me, Mike, what's really important is how can we grow this platform and on a consistent basis educate, inspire people. They want the business of fame, then we're going to tell them the right way of fame, not just show up to LA and have no plan. So let's talk about some of the coaching things that you have. That would, what does someone do? Like right now, I want people to walk away with this, asking them some questions about what can they do, some of their goals, things like that. So these guys can take some notes, and then I want these people to implement. I want them to implement.
Well, I'm going to give them a series of questions that they can ask, and I would say this. Tony would tell people, create the categories in your life, right? The categories. So this category in your life that you're working on is called career, right? And you name it something sexy. Don't just name it, something flat. Call it,
fame.
Call it, fame fanatic. Yeah. Fame fanatic, right? Starving success, right? Give it a name that is sexy, that juices you up. What's the title of this vision? And you should have this for growing wealth. My wealth category, I call it absolute abundance, right? My health category, it's all about energy, right? So create these categories in your life, your relationship, your wealth building, your career, right? And then take a few minutes, put on some great music, right? Or go do a workout or do a meditation, and then take 5 minutes and without stopping, write down what is this vision. But write it as if you've achieved it and you're congratulating yourself. So it's like, we'll use Monica, right? Because Monica's been super active, and Chris and a couple of these guys. So maybe Monica, you would say, Monica, thank you so much for showing up every morning, waking out of bed excited. It was amazing every day to work on your brand, to put together your outfits and create the content that was engaging, or Rachel, right? Rachel comes out and says, Rachel, I'm so proud of the, Rochelle, I'm so proud of the drive you've shown up with every single day. Chris writes, every day you're taking amazing images and you're bringing things to life for people in stills. I want to congratulate you for locking in those 3 clients. Write a congratulations vision to yourself for what you've already created. It's done already. Write it as if you've done it and you're celebrating it. Make that vision real. Then, step 2, list the necessary resources you need or already have to make that vision real. Right? My friend Valentino Cohen is on. Valentino, good to see you, good sir. Valentino is amazing at supporting men and being able to talk to women in a more congruent way. Right? He's got some amazing things out there around that. Love that guy. So you want to make sure that you make an exhaustive list of the resources you already have. Right? What books, what seminars, what master classes are you engaged with? Hint, hint. What coaches do you have? Right? Make an exhaustive list of the resources that you have or that you'll need to make that vision real. After you've got that down, be honest. Where are you now in relation to that vision? And what are the resources that you need? So that's your reality check. Here's my dream. Where am I at? Now we've got a gap between where you're at and where you want to be. Now we can measure how to close the gap. We can create that strategy and get you in that action to close the gap. After that, I want you to get really honest. List any perceived obstacles or limitations, any perceived obstacles or limitations that you feel might be getting in your way. The reason I say perceived is because sometimes the obstacles and limitations that we believe are in our way aren't reality in actuality. It's just our limiting beliefs. And then one by one, next to it, write down how do you mitigate? How do you mitigate that perceived obstacle or limitation? What's one way you can overcome it? Who do you need to call? What do you need to do to step up? And then from there, you will have the clarity to say, these are my next 2-3 steps.
So
And don't think too far
give me
ahead.
an example? Walk me through, because I know we both have to do the Zoom call in 6 minutes. Let's give an example for a relationship. Let's do one for a career. Give us an idea.
So relationship, right? My relationship category personally, I'll give you mine. My relationship category, right, is called true romance. True romance, because I want truth and I want absolute romance. I don't just want a roommate, I want romance, right? And so my ideal vision is, Mike, I'm so proud that every day you wake up and you look for a way to meet Valerie's needs, right? Every day you're seeking to light her up, to support her, to energize her. You meet the needs of foreplay in the relationship, which is waking up and taking care of Maya and getting her ready for school and taking care of the house, creating space and freedom for Valerie so that she has the energy to meet you where you're at and create the connection that you need, right? That intimacy is about connection and about conversation. So that's kind of my vision in a nutshell. I'm rambling a little bit, but that's what I would write. What are the resources I need to make it happen? I've got to look on the Pinterest board that Valerie has created for me, because gifts are one of her love languages, and I'm horrible at guessing gifts. So Valerie created a Pinterest board where I can just go and get hints for what I need to do to put the gifts in front of her that are going to light her up, right? So I need the Pinterest board. I've got to make sure to check in regularly with my coach. I want to make sure I have 3 couples that I aspire to be like in my life, successful couples. I'm not going to talk to my single, broke as a joke friends about what their relationship. They've been single for 10 years. I'm not taking relationship advice from them, right? So I got Tony and Sage, and I've got this couple, Richard and Dee, that I've known for 20 years and have this amazing relationship, right? And then where am I right now? Scale of 1 to 10, where would I rate myself? If I'm honest, about an 8. I've been focused on work a lot. What can I do to take it to a 9? What can I do to close the gap? What do I believe is in the way of getting me to a 9 or a 9.5? Right? And then I get honest about that and I say, what can I do to mitigate it? I can order flowers right now. I can make sure dinner's ready when she walks out of her office. I can offer to pick up Maya today. I take care of getting the sitter or the nanny in the house and getting things set so she can go work out. Right now, I've got a list of things that help me get over the obstacle. Now, that only took 3 minutes. Imagine if you took 10 minutes or 15 minutes for the 3 or 4 major categories in your life. Imagine if you painted a real vision of what fame would look like and feel like and who you would bless. Who in your life would you bless by achieving that fame? What would be different, right? And then from that vision, talk about the resources.
Let's talk about this. We have 3 minutes. So I want to, let's get everyone today to create their Fame by Sheeraz vision board. What does it look like so they really manifest it? Give us a couple nuggets of those so we can get these people to literally paint it today. I want them to take action today, right now. I've stopped with the excuses. I'm waking up early and I'm going through the modules. I'm learning from the best. And I'm taking Sheeraz's insights and I'm creating my blueprint, right? So like you've got 30 years of creating the very best, the best of the best in the business. If they're not accessing the masterclass and feeding their mind, right? Number 2, yes, vision board, right? And if you already have a vision board, maybe it's time to update it. If it is not inspiring you, get it, make it sexy. We talked about this earlier. Make it sexy. So create a vision board, a dream board, the ultimate dream board of fame. What does fame look like? How does it feel? You've already got the awards. You've already got the paparazzi. You've already got the magazines cover. You've already got the billboards. You've got all these things. Feel it, manifest it, see yourself visually there, and then say, okay, what are the, if you're taking the Fame by Sheeraz Masterclass, what do I have to do next? How can we narrow that gap in,
Yeah, that's it.
Because you're right. It's when you see something, you keep seeing it. You buy a red car and you focus on red, you keep seeing red.
That's it.
Absolutely. You manifest it. I had that with with many things actually in my life, personal life and professional life. When I get myself in the zone of visualizing it, I see it. And then I know. Then I can go and grab it.
And I'm going to close with this. Have faith in yourself and have faith that there's a higher power that has your back. I had the opportunity to live basically in hotels with this man, traveling around, supporting clients for years. And if there's one thing that I know Sheeraz never skipped, it was making sure that he thanked God every day and that he asked God for his blessing and his guidance in his life. We fasted together, right? Because Sheeraz was absolutely committed to making sure that he did everything in his life to stay committed to his faith. And you said earlier, you know, God had you go through some things so that you could expand and open this up to bless others.
Absolutely.
And what I know is you've never turned away from that, ever, not once.
Even before I come on my live stream, 15 minutes, I'm praying to God first before I even get on the live stream, you know?
And I think it's important that people realize that most
brother,
people that have
listen,
true
brother, I
lasting
love you.
success have
Listen,
that.
I'm getting messages
Yeah, we got
for
to go.
Netflix.
We got to call.
Quick, 10-second roundup, man. Go.
Listen, stay committed, stay starving, make sure that you're investing in yourself. Stallone, at the end of the day, that film grossed over $200 million, 9 Oscars, because he bet on himself and he took a chance to invest in himself and to follow his dreams. You've got to do the same thing. Stay hungry and chase after that fame if that's what you want. Sheeraz has the blueprint to get you there. So hopefully we'll see you in the masterclass.
I love you, brother. Join on Netflix.